the first instrument training flight you take, these are the things you'll do, okay? So you'll get your power settings for the different phases of the approach, and then you'll do some turns and climbs and descents and climbing turns and things with the hood on, with the instructor, and you'll do some timing of that. We're going to do at least the first part of the Bravo pattern. Okay, so your instructor may or may not use that. He may just vector you. I don't know how that'll work. My instructor did give me a little bit of the Bravo pattern. It really wasn't much, but the whole idea is timed turns, timed climbs, timed descents with a hood on, with reference to instruments only. And this is just in preparation for instrument flying. Okay, for a timer, we're going to use, well, you could use whatever you want. You're going to need a timer. I like to, what I learned on, and I think is convenient, is on these transponders. So if you have a modern Garmin transponder, they have an up counter on them. Okay, so looking at the Bravo pattern now, look at this. So, you know, you start at cruise, basically what we're doing, 2,500, cruising along, 3,500 feet, have a hood on here normally, and but I would, you know, if you want to get a head start, get a safety pilot, put a hood on, and do a little of this, and just it's getting a feel for the plane. Okay, so what you'll do is we'll start the timer. We're going to do 1 minute cruise. Okay, 1 minute cruise. Starting timer. Okay. Remember, normally you have the hood on. Okay. So, flying along. Straight level flight, cruise power settings. And, you know, you look at your pattern, instrument flying, get ahead of the plane. So, coming up at 1 minute, we're going to have a 15-second turn to the left. Okay, 15-second turn. So, coordinated, everything's coordinated when you're doing instrument flying. Okay. So we're still timing. You could modify the times if you want. It's not really all that critical. The point is you will have to do some times on hold legs and things like that, so that's kind of the point of that. Okay, but we're coming up on our minute, so we are going to have a 15-second coordinated constant rate, is what I'm looking for, constant rate turn to the left. Okay, there it is, 1 minute. Okay, we will, okay, here we go. You could actually leave the counter because it's still counting. You just go to 115, and there it is. Okay, 115. Come out of the turn. Now you got another minute here. Okay. Straight level flight. So on our counter, we'd be looking for 215 here if you do it that way. You can reset it as well. Then we're going to be doing a 1 minute turn. Final 36. Wow. To the right. At 215. Okay. And again, you'd have the hood on. You'd be just, it would totally reference to the instruments. Okay. And we're coming up on our 215. I'm going to go ahead and reset it. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to go coordinated turn. Or, sorry, constant rate turn. I got to get my nomenclature correct. This is, of course, going to be a 180-degree turn, if you do it right. Right? That is a 2-minute, constant rate 2-minute turn.
Michigan City Skydive 1 is 2 minutes to skydiving over Michigan City Airport, 14,000 feet and below. 2 minutes to skydiving, 14,000 feet and below Michigan City.
Constant rate turn, trying to anyway, for 1 minute. And then we're going to do 30 seconds straight ahead. Okay, there we are. And now we're going to do 30 seconds straight ahead, even though we're getting close to DeKalb. I don't know that I like that. Okay, and after this 30 seconds, we're going to change. We're going to do a 15-second turn, and we're going to change to approach speed. Okay?
DeKalb traffic, TriPacer 57.
There's 30 seconds.
Runway 27 and Charlie, DeKalb.
Forward to north, clear the traffic.
Wow. Okay, and looking for 15 seconds here. Okay, and there it is. So, and then here we are, and like we said, now, got 2 minutes, but you're going to change to approach speed. So what did we say we had to do for approach speed? It was down to about just under 2,200 RPM. And you're going to pitch up. Maintain your altitude. And at the same time, we're timing for 2 minutes.
City, 647.
Okay, and we're going to settle in here. We should settle in. Our power's falling back. Let's kick it up a little bit. We'll always monitor that power. And look at that. We're level, 92 knots, and about at the right altitude too. Okay, so we're here for 2 minutes according to our Bravo pattern. And then next we'll have another 15-second turn.
Michigan City, skydive 1, skydiving
to the right.
14,000 feet and below, Michigan City.
Okay, indicating 90 still, that's good. Very critical. It's all about you're in the terminal area here as what you're simulating. Category A, 90 knots. Okay. We're coming up on our 2 minutes. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and change the tanks. I've been up here for a bit, so why don't we do that? Still have 20 seconds anyway. Fuel pump on. Right tank. Fuel pump off. Okay, so here we are. Okay, coming up on our 2 minutes. And what was it? It was a 15-second turn at this speed, right? Okay. There we go. Okay, 15 seconds, constant rate turn. Okay, and then that's 15 seconds. Okay, and then 45 seconds. Okay, and then I'm actually, you know what I just realized? I'm doing the alpha pattern, which does not have climbs and descents. That was my bad.
City's got one left downwind.
Okay, so
02,
the Bravo pattern.
4 parachutes in there, 5,000 feet below.
Bravo pattern does start out without climbs and descents. That's why I didn't notice it until now. But that's okay. We'll just go ahead and we'll improvise. So we had a turn, 1 minute 15-second turn on our alpha pattern starting now. Okay, so we're going to go do that. Okay, this is
DeKalb traffic, TriPacer is left downwind, runway 2, DeKalb.
Atlantic traffic, 0442 going right, approximately 10 miles to the north, inbound. Now you're well in 45 for the left downwind.
so what we're going to do here is, once we, on the alpha pattern, it doesn't have descent, but I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, we're going to do a descent after this turn, okay? I'll just improvise, because the Bravo pattern has climbs and descents, and turning climbs and descents, which can get a little interesting sometimes with the hood on. So let's go ahead and we're doing this here. We're looking
Michigan City's got one
for our
final
time.
runway 2, Michigan City.
So now we're going to say, okay, we're going to go straight. Let's say we're going to go straight for 30 seconds. Okay. So we have a straight section here. And then we're going to go into the descent, okay, a 500 foot per minute descent, like we were on, like we hit the final approach point, final approach fix. Okay, we're coming up, and what are we going to do to descent? Here we are. We're going to go down to about 1700 RPM. One notch of flaps.
Traffic,
and remember, we were going to do this, let's say this for a minute. Okay, so this is replicating the approach, final approach course. Okay, so we've got our 500 foot per minute descent, maybe a little more. And if you had a glide slope, you might have to adjust a little bit. Remember, glide slopes can vary some. We're doing 90 knots on the button, so that's pretty cool. And we're looking for 1 minute, we said, right? Okay, so we got 15 seconds.
Crosswind for runway 9er Atlantic.
Okay. Okay, so then we're going to do climbing left turn for 1 minute. How's that sound? That's like going missed. Okay, and there we go. Okay, we hit it. Okay, climb power.
Atlantic traffic,
okay, we got positive rate.
To the north,
and we're going to do a climbing left turn.
Downwind for 9er, and we're looking for the Cessna.
Scout traffic
for
is upwind for 2 to
1 minute.
Lansing 737 Papa Whiskey, turning left downwind for runway 9er, Lansing.
Lansing traffic, we're 552 is about 4 mile final, straight in 36, Lansing.
Okay. Sure, we'll say that's good. Stop the turn, inspection level. So that's all I'm going to do for the modified alpha pattern here, but I just wanted to demonstrate some of the things you can do in preparation for instrument training, okay? And, you know, I had read some of that stuff that I just went over, but I didn't really understand, I'd say, what they were
about a 4 mile
really getting at and why you were doing that stuff. And you may not either until you start doing approaches, but I think it's a good thing to do. Just, you don't have to do a lot of it. Go up with a safety pilot, do an hour of, you know, Bravo pattern. And just really, it's all about flying level, climbing, turning, descending in a controlled fashion with the hood on, referring only to the instruments. And if you can do that, if you can get really solid with that, then you're going to be a step ahead on your training, because the other part of this is all procedural, right? It's looking at an approach plate. It's knowing what to expect for various approaches, and it's setting the radios and identifying the VORs and the ILSs and talking to ATC, right? That's really in the holds, but the same thing. It's procedural. That's really what it is. So if you can control the plane well, in a nice controlled fashion, maintain altitude plus or minus 100 feet, you know, get on those glide slopes and basically get the power settings right and get your 500 foot per minute descents. You're going to be so far ahead of where I was when I started, because I was wrestling the plane half the time. And so that's what it's all about.